You're watching Financial News Network. I'm Mike Wittgenstein. We're here with Juan Armenta, an attorney that specializes in workers' compensation. Juan, let me ask you a question. In the process of workers' compensation, when you're in that, where do you decide whether you need to seek legal advice or seek legal counsel? At what point in the process do you decide to make a call or go see someone?
Well, I would prefer that you did it as early as possible so I can tell you what your options are. That doesn't mean you have to hire anybody, but at least you know what your options are.
How early? I fall down at work, do I go put in the claim or do I make the call?
No. There are a lot of times when we'll have clients in that their claim is going along properly. Okay? They're getting paid their benefits, medical care is being provided by a reasonable doctor, everything's fine. Even though they come in and talk to us, we don't get involved in the process because when we do, sometimes what happens is the insurance adjuster gets really defensive and starts creating a little problem.
So you're saying there are sometimes some people you can't help?
Well, I will help them by educating them, by letting them know what their rights are. But I won't necessarily jump into the case and mess up. I mean, if it's working, why mess with it? Okay?
So I think it's important that everybody knows that realistically they have nothing to lose by contacting an attorney.
That's true. That's true. Let me answer your prior question. The time to go see a lawyer is, first of all, if your benefits are being cut off. If you're not being paid anymore and you think you should be. If you're not being provided medical care that you think you should be. It's probably time to go see a lawyer.
I feel I'm still injured. They've released me. I don't have insurance, medical insurance. Am I just out of luck? I mean, is it what do I do?
No, there's no problem at all there.
And how would you be able to assist me in that?
Well, I'll tell you, there's no problem at all in that. There are numerous doctors here in the Coachella Valley and throughout California that understand the workers' compensation system and work within it. And these doctors will treat you, will not charge you anything. They simply submit their bills to the insurance company, and the judge at a later point will order them to pay those bills.
Obviously, you have a lot of experience. How does your experience benefit the client?
Well, the important thing to remember is that this system is really driven by medical reports, medical opinions of doctors. And it's important that you have an attorney that has the experience to go in and to be able to cross-examine these doctors on medical issues effectively. And that only comes from experience. The other thing is you have an experienced attorney that knows what he's doing, the insurance company will know it, defense counsel will know it, and you will get different treatment on the handling of your case.
Are you telling me that if I injure my knee, it's not just a set amount of money they've got to pay because I injured my knee?
No, Mike. When you go to your doctor that is treating you well, and when he's done with your knee, he says, Mike, I don't want you to do this or this or this with your knee because you're at risk for further damage. Your doctor's expressing an opinion about that knee. Now, the insurance company will go hire another doctor that I can almost assure you his opinion will be, oh, he can do a lot more than that. His residuals are not that high.
All right, so let's say I've gone in, I've had surgery on my knee, they've done the x-rays, everything seems to be okay, they're telling me everything's fine. Really, what is it that you can offer?
Well, let's say you did have surgery, you had a reconstruction of your knee. Again, there's going to be your doctor that says, Mike, I don't want you spending 8 hours a day climbing upstairs and lifting packages of 100 pounds or more if you're in that type of environment. For example, a UPS employee, you may not want him jumping up and down out of that truck all day long to protect that knee. Because once we do surgery on something, it's not good as new. There's going to be problems with it. Now, your doctor, the surgeon that did it, that was inside your knee, that is treating you, that has seen you all this time, is probably the person in the best position to tell you what to do or what not to do with that knee. But the insurance company is going to go hire somebody else to come up with a different opinion. And the judge now has to pick which opinion is more credible. Which opinion makes more sense?
You know, I don't mean to cut you off, but what if somebody's sitting at home and they're watching right now, and they say, you know what, my attorney doesn't sound anything like this. In fact, I've never even spoke to him. Is there anything he can do? Once you're in this system, is it the same with attorneys as it is with the doctors? Can you move?
Yes, absolutely. You can move your workers' compensation case to any attorney with which you're comfortable, and there are many competent workers' compensation attorneys here in the Valley.
In what case do you think somebody should make a change? I mean, what would prompt somebody to want to go and seek different legal counsel?
Well, it's tough to say when they should. It's really their own evaluation. But I think the people that we do see switch for one primary reason, and that is because they don't have the level of communication with their lawyer that they probably should.
What you're telling me is if somebody calls here, they could actually speak with Juan Armenta.
That's absolutely true. They will speak with me or my partner, Mary Lloyd. Of course, our secretary and staff helps us with the day-to-day things, change of addresses, and the routine matters. But when there are questions about your case, important questions, we will get back to you. We'll talk to you about it.
Is that really what you feel separates you from most?
I think so, absolutely. In fact, our clients tell us that. Most of our clients really come from referrals from satisfied other clients. They refer in their family, their friends, because they were happy with what we did for them. And they are gracious enough to honor us with a referral from somebody that they trust because they know they can trust us. They know that when they call, they're going to get their questions answered. And I think anybody looking for a personal injury attorney or a workers' compensation attorney should probably start there.
You know, I'm still concerned about the worker that doesn't want to jeopardize his job. He's got kids, he's a 15-year employee, he's been great, you know, he's getting close to retirement. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't want to get blacklisted, as you said. What can you do to help that individual start to get the benefits that they deserve?
Well, again, they need to be educated about what their rights are so they don't do anything that's going to make the situation worse. And it costs nothing to consult with an attorney to do that. Now, what we do in that situation is we balance. This is, look at this career here. We don't want to create a process, an adversarial process, where management now figures we should just get rid of this guy. So we will tell you, look, this is what you need to look for, this is what's happening, this is where you're going to go, and this is probably the best way to manage your case and still keep your job safe.
So basically, after speaking to you, they would know pretty much where they stood.
Right, and we're not going to charge them for that, and we will not enter into the case. We will not represent them. We're just going to give them some consultant advice. Now, it may come to a point where management has made up its mind. It doesn't care that you're a 15-year employee. It doesn't care that you're a great person and have been a stellar employee. They may just decide, you know what, anybody that's injured, they're on the blacklist, and we're going to cut off benefits, and we're going to do that. Well, then you're backed into a corner.
Right.
What choice do you have? And then that's when you do need to come talk to a person,
now,
a workers' compensation attorney.
With that in mind, is there at any point in time where a workers' comp case becomes basically a personal injury case?
Yes, there are, in many instances. For example, we have construction accident problems where perhaps Mike is working on windows, installing windows on a third story, and the scaffolding was erected by another company. And that scaffolding was defective or somehow not correct, and you fall and get hurt. So we have two people now that are potentially responsible for your damages. We have the insurance company that covers the workers' compensation aspect for your employer, and we also have perhaps the negligent third party that brought about your injuries.
And again, legal counsel could tell you whether that was applicable or not in your case.
Right. It is. The attorneys have the duty, in fact, the legal duty. When you come in to speak to me about your workers' compensation case, it is my legal duty to identify if there are other avenues of recovery for you. And it's important to recognize that these two cases interact very closely. There are credit issues. What one party pays, the other one doesn't pay. So it's important to have one firm working on all this so you don't have two lawyers out here doing opposite things.
I can't imagine, with everything you've told me today, that 90% of the people choose not to have legal counsel.
I'm astounded, and it's a real shame.
We're running out of time. If there was one thing that you could convey to someone sitting at home right now watching the show about the system, about you, about it, what would it be?
Well, I think the biggest thing is get educated. Understand where you are in the system, understand where you're going, and understand where you could end up. And it's easy to do that. Go ahead and talk to somebody that knows the system. Talk to a workers' compensation attorney. It's free to do. And that way you get in control of your case. You are in control of your future, not an insurance company adjuster that has profit in mind, not necessarily your best interest.
So if somebody's sitting at home right now, they have questions, they're uncomfortable, that they feel scared, are they welcome to give you a call and talk to you?
Absolutely welcome to give us a call, and we'll be happy to talk to them. If it's something we can help them out with.
You're not going to give them your secretary, paralegal?
Well, if I'm in court, they're going to get my secretary.
But you will call them back.
But I will call them back, and I will speak to them, or Mary will speak to them, and we'll do our best to see if we can help them. And if it's not something that we can help them with, or that we don't think we should become involved yet, we'll tell them that too.
Juan Armenta, thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
You've been watching Financial News Network. I'm Mike Wittgenstein. We'll see you next time.